Hi everyone, I am Dr. White, and today I had planned to record the video outside. The snow is glistening, the sun is absolutely gorgeous on this February 1st, 2019, but there's just one problem. It is 2 degrees outside. You heard me, 2 degrees. So after the first minute or so, I decided it may be better for you to understand me if I were inside, opposed to shivering and my teeth chattering as I'm trying to record the video. So one of these days we'll go outside and we'll take a look at what God has created in this beautiful winter. Last week I attempted to encourage you in the area of spiritual optimal health. And I shared a personal testimony about how God shared that with me during a physical testimony that I had. If you didn't get a chance to watch that, there's still time. You can find it on Facebook. You can find it on Instagram. You can find it on YouTube. So check it out if you haven't. And I'd love to have your feedback when you do. Today, I want to continue our journey as we talk about this spiritual optimal health. What came to mind as I was preparing for today was a few years ago, I showed this video to a group of women, and the video was based on these 2 missionaries that were in another country sharing God's word. Very simple. All they wanted to do was spread the gospel message of Christ. They took Bibles into this country where Bibles were actually banned. They were deemed negative material, hateful material, material that's filled with lies. And so these women, despite knowing the Bible was banned, they would slip these Bibles into the mailboxes of the residents. And then at nighttime, they would hold meetings to answer questions about the contents. That is a bold thing to do for Christ, and how amazing. As I looked at the surface of that, that's the first thing I thought was, wow, these women are bold for Christ. Then the story took a turn. These women were arrested. They were thrown into jail because they were distributing this illegal propaganda. Their Bibles were removed because, again, they were illegal. But the amazing part of the story was these women hid God's word so heavily in their hearts that they didn't need the physical text to remind them of the promises that God had for them there and elsewhere. Did you hear that? They could recall God's word regardless if they had the physical text in front of them. They had hid God's word so deeply in their heart that they were able to recount many, many passages of hope, of love, of faith, of trust, and their faith never wavered. Now, there is a happy ending. These women were able to get out of jail, but they were there for a period of time, but they never lost sight of what they were supposed to be doing for the kingdom. I want to encourage you today to have that same type of dedication to hide God's word in your heart. But it can't start unless you're reading it. That's my whole purpose for today's video. I want to encourage you to read God's word. When you're on your job and you're being afflicted, wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to just stop in that moment and God's word just fall down upon your brain in that moment because you've buried it in your heart, because you know his word? What if you're a teenager and you're at school and you're experiencing affliction there in the form of bullying or maybe an unfair professor, unfair teacher? Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to recall God's word in that moment as a comfort to you? The only way that you can do it is by reading. You have to read God's word. Now, I'm not saying that you have to memorize God's word. Memorization is a whole nother video that is an amazing thing that I really want us to get to on this spiritual walk. But for today, I want to keep it simple, and I just want you to read. I want you to be familiar with where things are in God's word. I want you to be familiar with the love story that he shares, the gospel message that is woven all throughout from Genesis to Revelation. I want you to fall in love with God through his word. God speaks to you through his word. I hope you realize that as you're struggling with life questions, you're struggling with relationships, you're struggling with whatever it is you may be struggling with today, God uses his word to speak to you. So he confirms what you are to do in your life through his word. Now, God does use other believers, but here's the catch. God uses other believers, but you have to still confirm through his word what the other believers are saying is true. So it goes back to the very basic that God uses his holy word to confirm the work that you are to do for the kingdom. So again, I'm going to say it again. Read. That is my encouragement for you today. If you want to have a relationship with an amazing and holy God, you have to talk to him. You have to spend time with him. And the best way to spend time with him is to read what he's given to you in the form of this beautiful love story that he has provided for us. I would love in the comment section for you to share how you deposit God's word in your heart. So if you're on YouTube, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Twitter, if you're on Instagram, you can go to any of those social media outlets, and in the comments, let's encourage each other. Let's talk about what we do, the effective ways that we have found to study God's word. Do you study in the morning? Do you study in the evening? Do you take 20 minutes out of your day for lunch? Do you fast and pray during lunch? Share what you do in order to deposit God's word in your heart on a regular basis, because we all want to have that victory that as we are dealing with anything, and if we don't have the physical text in front of us, we can recall God's word and we can hear his voice just resonate off the pages because we have taken the time to study it. Until next time, have a great day.